Please comment and subscribe.
Well, I guess I spend it like most other parents in the United States. I stand by the door with a large sack full of jelly beans and candy ready to get rid of the kids by trick or treat.
Because the villain has so many sides. I do a lecture around the country. I've been a lecturer for about 20 years now. And I do a lecture now on the history of villainy. They're always the best parts, you know.
Well, Kermit, if you will forgive the immodesty, that is perhaps the epitome of the actor's craft. You see, it takes tremendous concentration, years of physical and emotional training, and enormous mental exertion.
And then there are villains that are the most interesting ones, I think, who are turned to evil by fate, really, by the wounds, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. I heard a kid today at UCLA, they're doing some kind of a spook thing, and he said it turns you on, you get a high.
Well, I don't think that's so bad. As a matter of fact, most of the horror pictures I've made have been based on the writings of one of the greatest American writers, Edgar Allan Poe. And they are, shall we say, baroque. I wouldn't quite say they were hammy.
And it was an interesting time. I think that the whole mood of Hollywood was just changing then. And I'm glad that I was here during the 4 or 5 years before it completely changed into a sort of pseudo-realism that I think it's still in. It was a land of make-believe, and it was very exciting. The glamorous women, the mysterious stars, the people that I met at that time and that got to know and work with are still, to me, fabled creatures.
In Toronto, just the traffic. That's scary all over the world. Of course, I come from Los Angeles where we invented it, so I don't know why I should be scared by Toronto traffic, except there's something pretty frightening about that way in from the airport.
Because most of the stories that I've done have been based on the tales by de Maupassant and Edgar Allan Poe and Hawthorne and things like that. And they're really classic kind of Gothic tales. And I think Boris felt that way, too. I mean, certainly Frankenstein was one of the great novels of its time.
Well, not at all. I don't think that anybody else has shorter teeth than I do you? They're wearing them long this year.
He's a very interesting person to study. There are all kinds of villains. There's the villain that is a villain in spite of himself. There is the villain who is a born villain. I mean, the kind who sort of were born that way.
Well, thank you, Kermit. I never met a monster I didn't like.
Us who were in those films, Boris Karloff and Peter Lorre and Basil Rathbone, and all of us that have been in them.
Oh, well, some people learn faster than others.
Ronald Colman and Joan Crawford and people like that. They're fabulous people. They're bigger than life.
But I'm usually traveling with it.
I really think of them as horror films. I think of a horror film as a film that really frightens me about everyday life.
Oh, no, Kermit, let me give you one.
Well, your problem is very different from that of the realist actor because you have to make the unbelievable believable. And the other actor, the Marlon Brando, has to make the believable believable. So you have an added dimension, an added challenge as an actor.